Hey, friend, and welcome back to the Aeroview Lifestyle. I'm Ariel, your designer, guide, and resident dreamer behind the Aeroview brand. It has been a few months since our last episode, and if you've been wondering where I've been, I hear you. This summer was full of lessons, full of projects, full of pruning, and full of purpose. Today's episode is going to be a little different. It's the start of a new season, both literally and figuratively. And I'm inviting you into a space of gratitude and growth as we reflect on what's been happening behind the scenes at Aeroview, what's been happening in my heart, and what I believe is coming next. And through it all, one verse, the very foundation of Aeroview, has carried me. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40:31. This isn't just a seasonal encouragement. It's our core. A reminder that when our timelines stall or falter, His never do. He lifts us higher, steadies our steps, and keeps our vision elevated, even when the path feels uncertain. Now, let me be real with you. We've had a project on our plate since April, a whole home remodel that's finally wrapping up next week. And I say that with so much relief. It has been one of those marathon projects where every week felt like a new lesson in patience, perseverance, and flexibility. And here's the thing, I wasn't involved from the beginning. The client had already ordered all of their fixtures, lighting, plumbing, furniture, everything, before construction even started. So my job became, well, more like putting a puzzle together where the pieces didn't always fit. Designers are often brought in too late. But good design is proactive, not reactive. There's a reason we stagger purchasing. There's a reason we walk clients through phases. Because construction is unpredictable. Walls shift, site conditions change, schedules delay, and when you've already committed to products without that flexibility, the process becomes more chaotic than it has to be. But even in the mess, I was reminded God is in the details. And seeing this project come together, despite the catch-up, the change orders, the adjustments, the curveballs, has been such a beautiful testimony. Because now we're ending the year strong. We've already onboarded a new client. We've got 3 more in the pipeline. And we are heading into 2026 with the fire in our hearts and a schedule that's ready to soar. I'll actually be walking you through that whole home project in detail next week so you can see the before, after, and everything in between. But today, I wanted to focus on what's been happening beneath the surface. Let's talk about something a little more personal. I grew up not being able to have a lot of things. And that experience taught me to be resourceful. But it also made me someone who wanted to say yes to everything. New opportunities, yes. Every potential client, yes. Every shiny idea, yes. Or a collaboration that came my way, Yes. But this year, something shifted. I learned to say no. No to things that didn't serve me. No to projects that looked exciting on the outside, but didn't feel aligned inside. No to people who felt controlling or who I knew deep down wouldn't trust the process. And you know what happened? I created space for better yeses. I found peace. I made room for the right people, and I stopped overcommitting out of fear or lack. That's what I want for you too. Because growth doesn't always look like more. Sometimes it's like pruning. There were clients I wanted so badly to work with, but something didn't feel quite right. And every time I listened to that intuition, I avoided burnout, people pleasing, and situations that could have compromised the integrity of my work. That kind of clarity has been life-changing. So let's talk business. Now, we can't announce it just yet, but Aeroview has something huge in the works. A project that aligns with everything we stand for. Aviation lifestyle, luxury interiors, and thoughtful design that elevates how people live and work. This one is close to my heart. It's an aviation-centered commercial project, something I've been dreaming of doing for years, and we're in the final stages of making it official. I'll share more once the ink is dry, but for now, just know this. It's the kind of project that validates every step we've taken to build Aeroview from the ground up. But in the meantime, I can share something we're already celebrating. Aeroview won its first ASID Design Award this year for our hangar design studio. Of all the years for this milestone to happen, it landed on ASID's 50th anniversary, which made the moment even more meaningful. It felt like a full circle blessing. I had the opportunity to attend the gala, surrounded by some of my favorite Dallas designers and our amazing industry partners. The theme was black and gold, not exactly my usual palette, so I had to get a little creative. I wore a black mermaid gown dusted in sparkles and pearls that couldn't have been more me if I had designed it myself. I made sure my husband didn't see it until that night, and let's just say he was speechless. It was so funny. People didn't even recognize me at first. I'm usually not one to show out, but winning an award for our studio deserved a little celebration. The energy in the room was electric, and it was one of those rare moments where you pause and realize our work is not only being noticed, it's being honored. To receive that kind of affirmation for a space that was so personal to me, our own design studio, was incredibly validating. It reminded me that when you build something rooted in vision, purpose, and passion, it resonates far beyond just the walls you design. I'd be lying if I said this year turned out how I planned. There were goals I didn't hit, projects I thought would happen that didn't, doors I expected to open that stayed shut, and in the past, that would have sent me into a spiral, trying to hustle harder, figure out why it wasn't working, or force things into place. But this year, I learned something deeper. Delay doesn't mean denial, and slow doesn't mean stagnant. I began to shift my mindset from quick wins to long-lasting impact, from microwave goals to crockpot goals. The microwave gives you something fast, sure, but the crockpot, it takes time, intention, and patience. And the result is something richer, more flavorful, more meaningful. That's the kind of life and business I want to build. One that nourishes others, one that leaves a legacy. I've learned that just because something is good doesn't mean it's for right now. And just because something is slow doesn't mean it isn't growing. That's what this podcast break was about too. I didn't step back because I didn't care. I stepped back because I needed to realign. I didn't want to keep creating noise. I wanted to return with clarity, with calm, with the kind of presence that only comes from peace. So I slowed down. I listened. I prayed. And I began to create again from a place of alignment, not anxiety. I'm coming back to this space not just with the updates, but with intention. To serve, to share stories, to reflect the heart of Aeroview, and more importantly, the heart of a creator who cares deeply about beauty, order, rest, and timing. That's why Isaiah 40:31 isn't just a seasonal encouragement. It's our core verse, the lifeblood of this brand. Every time I doubt, every time I feel tired, every time I wonder what's next, I come back to this promise. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. That's not passive waiting. It's active trust. It's letting go of the need to control everything and choosing to walk in alignment instead. It's trusting that even when the growth is slow, it's still happening beneath the surface. And when it blooms, it's worth the wait. So, what is Aeroview really about? It's about creating more than beautiful homes. It's about creating freedom. Freedom from chaos, from overwhelm, from cluttered, disconnected living. And freedom to live like you're soaring, even when you're on the ground. Aeroview was born from a need I saw in the aviation community. Pilots who spend so much of their time in the sky, craving that same feeling of peace and purpose when they come home. Not every client lives in a hangar home, but Aeroview space is designed to be an oasis, a sanctuary where you can land, recharge, and reconnect with what matters most. Whether it's the hum of a float plane or the stillness of a quiet Sunday, design should support the rhythm of your life, not compete with it. From open concept gathering spaces to quiet corners for restoration, we aim to make your home feel like a deep exhale after a long flight. And, above all, we believe in building with purpose. Purpose in the design, purpose in the process, purpose in the people we serve. Our work is personal. It's sacred. And this season has reminded me why I do what I do. So, here's a journal prompt for you. Where have you seen growth in your own life this year? Spiritually, personally, or professionally? And what does it look like to live in gratitude for even the seasons that didn't go according to plan. So that's where we've been and where we're going. Grateful for the journey, grateful for the pruning, grateful for the people God continues to send our way. Next week, I'll be sharing a behind-the-scenes look at the whole home remodel I mentioned earlier. What went right, what we learned, and how we're wrapping it up with style. Until then, keep dreaming big, living elevated, and remembering life's always better at altitude.